The Vikings never make it easy, man. It can never just be simple as a Vikings fan. Here we're sitting at 27-3, and I'm standing up in my basement going, yeah. You know, I'm going to curse on the show real quick. I'm like, fuck the Saints, man. Fuck the Saints. I hate New Orleans. And I was loving the Josh Dobbs show.
Winston was okay, though.
Box score, when you look at the box score, people will say, yeah, Winston was okay. I mean, actually, maybe not. 2 interceptions, 122 yards, 13 for 25. Even his touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Even his, both his touchdowns were ridiculous catches. But I'm watching this Vikings team in the first half, and Jack's texting, they can win it all. Jack's texting our group chat saying this team can go to the Super Bowl. Josh Dobbs looked unbelievable in the first half of this game, doing it with his legs, doing it with his arm. I really do think that Kevin O'Connell needs to get some Coach of the Year consideration right now, because what he's doing, at one point the Vikings trotted out Dobbs, Ty Chandler, Brandon Powell, and Jordan Addison. Those were our skill players. I mean, TJ Hawkinson is freaking Superman out there. He's getting the crap kicked out of him every single week, and he's just been fantastic. But this Vikings team, they're finding a way to win with a ragtag group of offensive skill players at the moment, and Kevin O'Connell's been honestly brilliant for Minnesota. But this was a game where the Vikings jump all over New Orleans early, and then in the second half, of course, you start to see those Vikings characteristics where they didn't even play particularly bad. Would you guys agree with that? Like, it wasn't like they were playing horrible. It was just New Orleans had these drives where saved by a penalty or ridiculous catch. Something crazy kept happening over and over again, and it never felt like the Saints were taking over the game. It was just, yeah, the Vikings were making Vikings-esque mistakes. Luckily, we're able to come away with the 27-19 win, and we move to 6-4. 5 straight wins.
Yeah, this was the game that I said on the previous show that you're at home in the playoff contention or playoff hopefuls. You have to win this game. And I know it ended up being an 8-point game, you know, on the box score. But this was really, for the most part, a dominating performance in my eyes from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that. Josh Dobbs had his moments where I'm like, dang, he looks like
good.
He's enjoying this. He wants to be here. He's rejuvenated. He's a man possessed. He looks good. The one possession where he took off, scrambled to his left, stuck the ball out, and got him to go up 27-3. I think it's 27-3.
That put us up. That put us up
17-3.
Yes.
And I'm like, we don't see that in the Minnesota offense with Kirk Cousins. That's a new dynamic that he's been bringing. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed. I thought Dobbs, for the most part, played very well. Like you said, the Saints were lucky to get it close because it was a real pain in the ass for them to get up the field. They were getting pretty lucky.
There's 4th down conversions, ridiculous Olave, and I can't remember their A.T. Perry was first touchdown.
Addison's fantastic. There was never really a point where I'm like, the Saints are going to make this at all interesting, and that was a bit of a statement there at home.
I'm starting to believe, and that's what's really scary.
Yeah, it could be scary.
I'm starting to believe, and that second half was exactly, the exact thing to maybe sober me up enough to be wary of what I'm getting invested in.
Addison is awesome.
He's unbelievable.
Addison is unbelievable.
Crazy good. But Ziggy, where are you right now? Are you all in on, hey, let's go win this thing, man?
Why not?
Josh Dobbs is a genuine Minnesota Vikings quarterback, right? I text you that over and over again because he knows exactly the beats to play, right? He's only been in town for like 10 days, and from getting the huge lead to almost getting the collapse to just barely squeaking out a win that should have been by 3 or more scores. He knows what he's doing. But it's that last part that's the most important, right? You can just see it when Dobbs is on the field, right? The way he sees the field, the way he processes things. I get that we'd like to see him throw a little bit more and scramble a little bit less, but he consistently finds ways to get it done. And it's not like the Saints defense is bad, right? There are a lot of good players on this defense. So the fact that he was able to get it done and put up points when we needed to, again, 3 points in the second half, not very exciting, but 21 points in a quarter, more exciting. If you're this Vikings team, right? Justin Jefferson's coming back. KJ Osborne's coming back. Like, the offense just gets better from here. Absolutely ride it out. This is a team that looks more dangerous than you might think, given some of the players that you listed.
Well, the receivers coming back are huge for them. And with one thing that a couple of Vikings fans may have noticed too, I think we may have discovered a new threat in Ty Chandler at running back. You know, he was a preseason guy for a long time in his career here. He's performed really well. And Alexander Madison getting a little banged up. He's been just okay this year. Ty Chandler came in, and even though he finished 15 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown, but he had a few runs where, we haven't seen that explosion from the running back position all season long. He's going to get more and more invested in this offense. The Vikings are going to give him the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually takes over for Madison in a couple weeks here. So I think that's another really exciting element to the offense. And we have to remember, Dobbs is not Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins really is one of the best throwers in the league. Every ball is on the money. There will be times where Dobbs just misses or is a little bit behind. But that added element with his legs does give us another dimension that's exciting and just really fun to watch. And as long as this team can stay healthy, given what they have right now, and I know that's a problem that we've had all season, I think they are 100% in consideration for the NFC North title.
Yeah, I think Josh Dobbs, like I've said, is good enough to captain this offense and this team. This is the best situation that he's been in his entire career. Like, he's been set up to not look good his whole life. He was a third stringer. Then he was on Tennessee.
He was at Tennessee.
And not during the good years.
Yeah, then when they were bad. Then the Cardinals, and now the Vikings.
You guys.
Oh, I wanted him. We had our choice between him and Mason Rudolph as the third stringer. We cut one, we keep one. We kept Mason Rudolph, and I was not for that. I've always liked Josh Dobbs.
My dad looked at me when Jordan Addison had one of his several great catches today. He just looked at me and said, "My God, when Jefferson gets back and Osborne, how do you stop this offense?" And it's hard to. It's hard to.
And I'll just say, like, credit to Casey Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell here. I know you mentioned O'Connell, but they've made a lot of good decisions, right? A lot of Vikings fans were mad that we let Dalvin Cook walk during the offseason. Well, then he demanded a trade from the Jets because they won't give him a lick of playing time, and Ty Chandler is breaking out. People were thinking that the season might be over when Kurt got hurt. We did what the Jets wouldn't, right? We traded for Dobbs, and O'Connell, to his credit, remade the offense pretty significantly.
O'Connell's
very
been
quickly.
Sensational this year.
Like, it's good to see some cooperation between the GM and the head coach, and that leaves me confident of what this team can do going into the future, which makes me even happier to just push the chips in and compete now, see what happens.
Gosh, what a weird spot to be in from 6 weeks ago. I mean, the Vikings, the Vikings were 1-4.
Talking about the number one pick.
1-4. We're like, we got to sell Kirk here, and then Jefferson. We got to trade Jefferson maybe. And
I said, blow it up completely. Go 2-15 and pick number one.
The Vikings don't like to blow it up.
No, we're too average, man.
No, look, they'll be the 5 seed, lose. It'll be a cycle.
You said it. I didn't.
Hey, no. This it's on. Super Bowl's on.